I'll have the latest track update on Hurricane Milton as it continues to intensify, making a path toward the state of Florida. I'll break down everything you need to know next at 11.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results in your neighborhood now at 11 p.m.
Just in tonight, the brand new track for Hurricane Milton, and that cone of uncertainty is getting a bit smaller, still with Central Florida right in the middle of it. That means the probability is increasing. We will feel a hurricane, potentially a major one, passing over us starting around Wednesday, which means, though, you still got time tomorrow and even Tuesday if you didn't get it all done like these folks did today. Good evening. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Eric Von Anken on this Sunday. And we know this hurricane brings anxiety and questions like shelter openings, school closings, evacuation orders, and sandbag availability. So we're going to try and help, at least with the questions anyway. First, though, we want to get right over to meteorologist Samara Kokinas, taking us through this latest 11 p.m. track. Samara.
That's right, Eric. So as we continue to monitor this storm, it's only intensifying even more. So with each run, we're looking at a greater drop in pressure along with the wind speeds following suit. So looking at the 11 p.m. advisory, still slow moving to the east at 7 miles per hour. But look at this. The central pressure has dropped to now 977 millibars from 981 as of that 5 p.m. and even the 8 p.m. advisory. The winds packing about 90 miles per hour, definitely up by 5 miles per hour. So this is a strong system. It's going to continue to rapidly intensify over an area of very weak shear and very deep warm water. Look at this. By tomorrow morning, we could even be reaching that Category 2 status, then major hurricane Category 3 status by Monday night. And then as we head into Tuesday, increasing even further into that Category 4 range all the way through Wednesday morning at 8. Now watch this. I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter. Notice the cone still incorporating a good chunk of the Gulf Coast of Florida. So anywhere from about Cedar Key going back down to Port Charlotte and even further south going to Fort Myers. So when we look at this track, it does keep it maintaining its strength as a Category 4 through at least Wednesday morning. Then it's going to move into an environment of vertical shear to kind of weaken it a little bit before landfall. Now kind of push back instead of Wednesday afternoon. We're looking at Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. packing 115 miles per hour, maintaining hurricane strength across the peninsula and exiting into the Atlantic as a Category 1 storm. So regardless of what the exact track that this system takes, we're still going to feel big time impacts well outside this storm. It's only going to grow and it's going to be large at landfall. I'll break down everything you need to know in terms of impacts coming up in just a few minutes. Eric, back to you.
Talk to you then, Samara. If there ever were a time, it is now. We have a hurricane app for you. It is free. You can download it on your phone by just searching WKMG in your app store. It will bring you all of the latest tracks and alerts as we put them out. Earlier today, Governor Ron DeSantis widened the state of emergency for Milton from 35 Florida counties to 51 now. You can see most of Florida, the eastern part anyway, meaning the state is moving resources into place for rescue, recovery, and evacuation operations. And it doesn't help that a lot of these counties are still recovering from Hurricane Helene, which made landfall in Florida, of course, not just even 2 weeks ago. So this means the state is both working on the cleanup effort for Helene while preparing for whatever Milton brings our way, both at the same time. The governor says this is an around-the-clock effort.
You have a storm and then have one less than 2 weeks later, 2 majors back to back. That is not something that is easy. That creates a lot of challenges. And so what we have to do is just do it around the clock until it's no longer safe to do it. So that's what the state assets are doing. That is what the local assets need to be doing as well. This is not a 9-to-5 debris removal. You're not going to be able to get it done if you just do 9 to 5. So we need everybody doing 24/7.
And many of our local leaders are doing that. They're taking the governor's words to heart. Today in Volusia County, they put out a serious warning for people. They're saying get ready while there is still time. News 6's Jarrell Baker was there today.
As of right now, Volusia County has not announced any shelters opening, but they're hoping to figure all of that out later this week. The county also hasn't said if they're closing schools, but there will be no after-schools activities tomorrow. Eric?
That sandbag site, Jerome, we just heard about the drive-through area. You just open the trunk and they drop it in. Take advantage of that.
Yes.
I've filled many sandbagged my house today. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I've been seeing people do that all weekend, just filling up sandbags as well. And also, some people have boarded up their house, so take advantage of everything right now, especially if it's free.
We still got time.
Yes.
Sherelle, thank you. We also talked with folks in Lake County where their emergency operations center is now at a level 2 status. What does that mean? The EOC director explained it to us.
That we have activated our EOC to a partial activation. What that really means is we are starting to pull in resources from our other county offices, other county agencies. So folks like the Sheriff's Office, the School Board, Department of Health, all of those partners are now coming and joining us in this effort to respond to Hurricane Milton.
In Seminole County, sandbag locations are open there, and they were very busy today with some very concerned people. News 6's Emily McLeod spent some time with them today as they got to work. And if you haven't been able to get your sandbags, like we said, you still got a couple of days. In Orange County, sandbag locations will open tomorrow and Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 7 at night. They'll open across Orlando, but there are also locations in Apopka and Winter Garden. In Brevard County, sandbags will be available tomorrow starting at 8 until 6 p.m. with locations in Titusville, Merritt Island, Melbourne, and Palm Bay. We put the entire county-by-county list for you of all sandbag locations across Central Florida right now at clickorlando.com, right on the home page of our website. Tonight in Flagler County, officials are warning people they might have to evacuate later this week, depending on where they live. Evacuations may be required starting on Tuesday for those in mobile homes and RVs, as well as people living on the Barrier Island, Marineland down to Flagler Beach and along the Intercoastal Waterway. No word so far on when or where shelters will open. But we are hearing some shelters are already open, like in Marion County at Vanguard High School and Fort McCoy High School. Westport High will also be open as a special needs shelter. In Osceola County, there will be 8 total shelters, all opening from Tuesday at 5 p.m. 4 will be pet friendly, and 1 special needs shelter will open at the Osceola County Council on Aging building. And if you do have to evacuate, make sure to pack cash, medication, and important documents. You'll also want to fill up your car with gas in case you can't go home right away. Florida has designated evacuation zones for many areas along the coast, usually grouped by letters like A, B, C, D. So your local official may call for a certain zone to be evacuated. Now's the time to check to see if you actually live in one of those.
If your home in Florida was built after 2004, you're most likely at 115 or 125 mile an hour sustained winds. Therefore, if we have a hurricane that is less than that, you don't need to evacuate. You would only then need to evacuate for water.
And an evacuation zone, you probably know this is different than a flood zone. The state has a tool to find out if your house is in an evacuation zone and the route you should take. Yes, we have evacuation routes here in Florida. We posted these maps for you showing all of this, again, right now at clickorlando.com/hurricane. And what about schools? Marion County has already announced school will be closed Wednesday and Thursday. In Osceola County, school is closed Wednesday. They're going to make a decision about Thursday and Friday later on in the week. Brevard County is also closed Wednesday and Thursday, and some local colleges and universities like Valencia, UCF, Stetson, and Rollins will be closed from Tuesday to Thursday, maybe longer. We put this list of all school closures also on our homepage for you. Samara's going to be right back with a look at the latest tracks and again walking us through them day by day as we see Hurricane Milton getting closer. And if you're planning to get gas tomorrow, hold on. A house hack for you to make your gas last just in case you don't need it this storm. You're watching News 6, getting results for all of Central Florida on this Sunday night. We'll be right back in 2.5 minutes. The 11 o'clock track for Hurricane Milton is now out, and as Samara was saying, it shows the storm is strengthening as expected. into what will likely be a major hurricane. Samara's going to be back in a minute, again, walking us through the track hour by hour and day by day. Filling up your car should be on your to-do list tomorrow, and if you got a generator, maybe a can of gas, not 4, just 1, to make sure that everybody else can fill up theirs. But I got a house hack for you. If you can, try and buy ethanol-free gas because, as I learned, it lasts a lot longer. We actually recorded that a few months ago, but hey, it still applies today. We're in hurricane season, but you can still get your propane tomorrow and your gas. If you got a generator and you want to get gas for the generator, remember, people get hurt or killed after every storm because of carbon monoxide poisoning from their generators. So first and foremost, do not use your generator inside your house and not in your garage. You should also keep it away from any other fuel-burning appliances like gas stoves. And when you need to put fuel in that generator, make sure to unplug it and make sure it's cooled down before you gas it up. And whatever you plug into your generator, be sure to use a heavy-duty industrial extension cord, because if you plug in things like a fridge or a portable AC unit, they draw a lot of wattage and they need a good quality cord, not one of those little wimpy things.
Good point.
Yes, meteorologist Samara Kokinas back with us. With this new track, obviously we're hoping for some good news, but we knew the likelihood that with those models aligning, it was going to head towards us and strengthen, and it seems to be doing that.
Exactly. It's really going to strengthen over the next couple of days very rapidly. So when we look at this this storm, we do see, a lot of convection with it. You see the bubbling up, and that indicates the convection, which shows that that storm is getting its act together and really starting to strengthen. Now, meanwhile, you see that surge of moisture moving in to Florida. That is associated with a completely different wave that is going to ride a front and over South Florida, but still help to increase our moisture here, totally separate from Milton. So when we look at the 11 o'clock advisory, 90-mile-per-hour winds, so the winds have gone up as the pressure has gone down to 977 millibars, still moving very slow at 8 to the east at 7 miles per hour. But watch this, over the next 24 to 36 hours, we're looking at this rapidly intensifying as it moves over an area of very little shear and very deep warm water. So when we look at the intensity forecast on this track, it does make it a major hurricane by category 3 by Monday evening, and then going up to a 4 by Tuesday morning at 8, and then continuing to strengthen by Tuesday night with 145-mile-per-hour winds. It's not until that it gets closer to the coast where it'll interact with a little bit of vertical shear, possibly weakening it to a strong category 3 just before landfall, and that is expected later in the day on this run at 8 p.m. versus that 2 o'clock time frame going into the evening for landfall. And again, all of this will continue to change. Notice the cone didn't really change that much, so anywhere from Cedar Key going back down to Fort Myers, you definitely need to pay attention. The exact path that it's going to take, the track intensity and timing are all going to get closer and closer together as more models come together. But look at it, maintaining hurricane intensity as it crosses the peninsula and exits in the Atlantic. Some models are keeping the rain here a little bit longer, but when we look at these models, you'll notice that there's still a few outliers that will keep it a little bit to the north and a little bit to the south, but the bulk of the action is still over Central Florida with these models. So as they come closer and closer together, of course, we'll see that tighter banding over the next couple of days. So when we look at the rain, I've told you that moisture is to our south, and that's basically what we've been seeing today. So we've had quite a bit of rain. A lot of the activity as we head into tonight is going to be focused in and around Orlando and areas to the south, but we've managed to accumulate in portions of Brevard County today already about 4 inches of rain. So I think as we head into tonight, we could still see this light to moderate rainfall. And as we look hour by hour and head into early tomorrow morning, you'll notice that we do get some pockets where we get a break, but for the most part, the coverage maintains that widespread nature, and then we'll see those pockets of heavy rain moving in from time to time. That could add up fairly quickly before we get a brief lull in the activity on Tuesday. So this is what you need to know as we head into this week. Conditions are going to go downhill the closer that we get to Wednesday. That's when we're anticipating that landfall. So scattered downpours. We have flood watches in place right now. We don't have hurricane or storm surge watches just yet. We're anticipating those to be issued early tomorrow morning. morning. Rainfall that we want you to prepare for, 4 to 8 inches with isolated maximums up near 10 inches. And then as we get into Wednesday, we're talking about the worst of that weather arriving. So again, flood watches in place so all the way through Thursday morning. Let's get a look here now at your pinpoint accurate 7-day forecast.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency? You ought to call Strata.
1 second here while I advance the graphics, and you'll notice anywhere again between 4 to 8 inches of rainfall accumulations is what we are getting you prepared for, so you can expect those downpours to lead to that flooding. And as we head into the upcoming week, the conditions will worsen, getting closer to Wednesday, possibly lingering a bit longer there on Thursday before gradually clearing. So we'll definitely continue to see that flooding threat through at least Thursday morning when those flood watches continue. After that, high pressure settles in, cooler, drier, giving us an opportunity as we head into late week next weekend to have an opportunity to clean up behind us. 4
to 8 inches, that's a wide range, but I heard you say earlier it really depends on how the storm ends up entering the state, right? I mean, that changes everything.
Right, and some models are actually showing this, and it's going to grow. The storm it'll grow, so it's going to be very large on landfall, but it's going to be packing a lot of moisture. And some models are amplifying that moisture. Some are keeping that moisture a little bit more to the north. So it'll definitely be something that we hone in on to really bring you those impacts county by county as they become clearer.
Another reason to watch the latest models as we get them, Samara. Thank you. Here tonight's winning lottery numbers for you. The Fantasy 5 is 6, 27, 5, 12, and 18. Pick 2 is 64. Pick 3 is 092. Pick 4 is 9735. Pick 5 is 69468. Fireball is 3. And Cash for Life is 26, 46, 31, 57, 23. Cash Ball is 4. Ryan Welch is here with sports. Something else to talk about besides the hurricane?
For now,
local NFL fans had a reason to smile today.
Yeah, a pair of struggling teams earning wins in very different ways today. The Jags got the game they've been waiting for from Trevor Lawrence, while the Fins outlasted the Patriots in an ugly one up north. Before we go to break, the Orlando Pride do it again. They beat Washington 2-0 to stay undefeated on the season. But more importantly, they win the NWSL's Shield as the top regular season team this year. Congratulations to the Pride. We'll be right back.
It's hurricane season, and the Pinpoint Weather Team is here for you. Because when the tropics heat up, we stay focused. No hype, no noise. Just a calm, consistent, accurate weather team tracking the hurricane's path with pinpoint Doppler radar. And 3D views bring us inside the storm to help keep you and your family safe. This hurricane season, stay prepared with the new 6 Pinpoint Weather Team and the Hurricane Tracker app. New 6, getting results. Sponsored by AK Certified Roofing.
Welcome back. It was hard to imagine with all their talent that the Jags came into the day the final winless team in the NFL. They next face Cincinnati coming up this weekend. We'll be right back.
Trooper Steve on Patrol is sponsored by Gibson Truck World. We are the king of trucks.
So tomorrow morning I'm headed off to the West Coast to cover Hurricane Milton. But again, we're all going to be here for you. I hope you stay safe. And again, we're here